Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Vencer Sarthe in Asphalt 9 multiplayer in the current Slipstream Rush season. Or not current, if you're watching this more than 7 hours after the video comes out. Anyway, we are at 4 stars, ranked 2941, with all upgrades and import parts applied that I could do at this stage. Now, this car was obtainable through a very grueling car hunt, which you could play, get this, up to 888 times. I played it about 200 times, bought a few packs, got a jackpot for it, and gave up on it. And if there's one thing I really dislike in video games, quite immensely actually, is having to repeat things over and over and over in the exact same way with the exact same thing to get the exact same stuff, or at least have a 10% chance to get it or something like that. I think this car had a 10% drop rate if you finished a race, so every like 15 minutes you'd get a blueprint for it. It was pretty bad. But in any case, I've gotten it, and so here it is. You'll probably notice pretty quickly what the worst trait of this car is. It's nitro efficiency, one of the worst in the game. I don't think it's the worst. I believe the SRT8 is slightly worse. Perhaps the TRION Nemesis is as well, not entirely sure, but anyway, it's pretty bad. Even at 5 stars, it's still pretty bad. However, this car does have the highest top speed in Class C of 226 miles per hour when fully maxed out. That's above the AMG GTS's 212, which I think was the next one. And the Acura, which is the second best car in Class C, can go like 210 or so. My 4-star Acura is, I think, still slightly better than my 4-star Vencer. At least I've usually been able to get a better time with it. But the Vencer is quite good in multiplayer with slipstreams because they just get behind someone at the beginning, nitro surf them, and then shockwave up to full speed. There we beat a Centenario, a McLaren P1, a VLF Force 1, and a bunch of other cars. And now in this race, we've got another P1. Yeah, there's a lot of much faster cars once you reach Platinum League in this season, because the way this season worked, and it's the way a lot of other seasons worked, apparently, which I don't really like. But anyway, the way it works is that Bronze, Silver, and Gold all play together, and then Legend League and Platinum all play together. I personally think this is quite a bad way of doing it, because then you have people just starting out with Bronze League cars that will constantly get paired with Gold League cars, which may be a whole lot better, and, well, there's nothing they can do about it. Especially since this game does not take ranks into account at all when determining multiplayer matchmaking. So if you aren't paired with people close to the same rank as you, nor to the same player rating as you, well, you get pretty random matchmaking, which is one thing I really do not like about this season and any other season that has this sort of matchmaking in it. And then once you get to Platinum League, you get paired with a bunch of Legend League cars, which may be a lot better than the Platinum League ones, making it hard to reach Legend League. Now, the fact that this is a Rush season makes the matchmaking a bit more bearable, but I just don't really like Rush seasons in general. However, with the Silver League car, I've managed to come in first against a bunch of Platinum League cars, which is pretty nice. And in this next race, we've got some Legend League cars. Yes, we've got 2 Lycans here. We've also got a VLF Force 1, a McLaren P1, a 488 GTB, and the Nissan GTR Nismo. Now, one thing I've found that in this car is it's good, well, really in any car that's in Slipstream season, is it's good to try to get behind the GTRs or whatever at the beginning, because they're the ones that accelerate the fastest, and therefore you'll be slightly behind them at the beginning, and hopefully can nitro surf them, which by the way is what it's called when you get in someone's Slipstream, and then be able to get enough nitro for shockwave, and then do that to get up to your top speed. That's what I tried to do a lot when I was driving this car in particular. Since it has bad nitro efficiency, you have to drive it a bit differently. If you're in front, it's not exactly the easiest thing to stay in front, which is a bad thing about having bad nitro efficiency. If you have a good nitro efficiency car in Slipstream seasons, you can more easily stay in front because other cars of the same kind won't really have much of an advantage slipstreaming behind you, because you will have nitro and they will as well, and the slipstream doesn't give them any sort of speed advantage, only nitro. And wow, I said everything in that race in one take. How about that? So here we've come in third, behind those 2 Lycans, but we beat those P1s as well as the VLF. Speaking of VLF, here is a quite close race against one. Also here we've got 3 P1s and a Centenario, as well as a Shelby GT350R and an Exotic Rides W70. This is one of my least favorite variants for multiplayer in the entire game. Canyon Launch is probably my least favorite 90-second variant in the game, but this one sure comes pretty close for multiplayer because of that chaotic beginning, and at the end we have that section where you can flat spin up, and if you go too high you might go too far to the left and not be able to drift to the right enough and then hit a car and lose all your speed. Yeah, I don't really like it, but in any case we have managed to come into first here because of pretty strategically going by those cars at the beginning, and then we get shockwaved and knocked down. Or I should say knocked down, which is probably the grammatically correct way to say it. However, it's just kind of weird because in the game, knockdown is one word, so you think you should add the ed for the past tense to the end. You guys probably know what I mean. So one of the people ahead of us wrecks, and the only person left still there is the one who knocked us down. So I was pretty determined to be able to catch up to him because I don't like getting knocked down. Then if you knock down me, I'm gonna try my best to beat you. Here he gets slowed down on something, not exactly sure what, but we're able to pass him, thankfully not hit that car, and then we go up this ramp, and yeah, we're able to come into first, and I was thinking, well, this is going to be pretty easy. However, that car that knocked us down, which is the one directly behind us now, is a VLF, which has a quite much higher top speed. Quite much, is that? I don't even know. But anyways, he's catching up behind us here. I nitro off the ramp, but he manages to pass us at the very last second and come in first. But still, we're not too far behind him, only a few frames, I believe. I do plan to test my 5-star VLF in multiplayer sometime. Now for another race on the same variant against the same sorts of cars. So yesterday I made a video about the Caribbean update to Asphalt 9, which yesterday released to mobile platforms iOS and Android, but as of now, at the time I'm recording this, it still has not been released to Windows. Hopefully by the time this video goes out, or maybe the next morning after I wake up, it will be out. But I just want to let you guys know I don't have any official word of when it's going to come out. I am wondering about it just the same as you guys. Also yesterday I made a video about the Asphalt 8 update, which came out at almost the exact same time. And in that video I announced that I will be in fact retiring from Asphalt 8. This is due to several reasons. The main one being the fact that the Gameloft team that is working on Asphalt 8 apparently doesn't really care anymore about the game much, nor about the wishes of the community for it, because they listened to the 10 people that suggested that so many more cars have the horrible changes to the ranks, but not the 3,000 plus people who signed the petition to revert all those horrible changes. And as of this new Asphalt 8 update, all of the cars in B, A, and S class in Asphalt 8 have had their upgrade rank percentages completely messed up, rendering multiplayer tunes completely useless for the cars in those classes. As you guys know, my channel is built around mostly multiplayer videos, and when multiplayer in a game is completely dead, what are you supposed to do? I don't want to see the game die. I've done everything in my power to try to get them to understand what the people want. We in the Influencers program have been telling them for quite a while now the problems with the updates and what you guys want, but it's just not doing anything. And that is why I quit Asphalt 8. And here we come in first. Now, I do plan to make a final Asphalt 8 live stream sometime in the near future to kind of relive the good old days of the game, and maybe we can get some good selfies and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for an announcement about that soon. I also plan to make some sort of Asphalt 8 tribute sort of video, and honestly I'm not sure what to do with that yet. I just want some sort of video to just remember the game and stuff like that. If you guys have any ideas on what I should do with that, please let me know, because yeah, I'm really not entirely sure yet. As I used to do one Asphalt 8 video a week on Saturday usually, I will now be doing one Forza video a week, probably on Saturday, although it could be on a different day. I know my channel isn't entirely scheduled, but I usually try to do 3 to 4 videos a week, so you guys know pretty much what you're going to be getting throughout the week. Now, back to the game at hand. So we are now back into third position after a bit of a chaotic beginning in which I wasn't driving especially great, but yeah, we've come into third. We've got this Centenario ahead of us, as well as, oh gosh, I don't even know what that is, but there's something that is way up there. So I was thinking if I could just slipstream this Centenario, maybe I could catch up to him, because me with Nitro is faster than him without Nitro, I think. We caught up to him a good bit around that last corner, so I was thinking, well, maybe I can catch up to him more and maybe pass him around the final corner. So I did a flat spin for some more Nitro, and then Nitro'd straight off that ramp and passed him at the last second. Or not. Actually, the game says we came in third, even though we actually have the exact same frame. Probably what's actually happening in these kinds of situations is that the game is internally recording the car's positions in less times than frames, so in maybe real milliseconds or something like that, but it only displays in frames. And so the person who was actually slightly ahead, slight few milliseconds ahead maybe, does get put ahead, so it is truly fair in that case, but it just doesn't show it past the frames. I hope that made some sense. So now it's time for my general review about this car. It is the C-Class King when maxed out, so if you have it maxed, this is what you should use in most of the C-Class Elite events. If you have it at 4-star or below, the Acura, if you have it maxed, is probably better. So yeah, I really just depends which of the Acura or the Vencer you have higher startup, which is the one you should use. It has decent acceleration, but not the best, decent handling and drifting, which is pretty good actually, but not the greatest either, the best top speed in Class C, and kind of bad nitro efficiency, the second or third worst in the game, I believe. But as you can see in this race, it really can do quite well against some of the other A and B class cars that have maybe slightly higher top speed, but if you can get this car up to speed, yeah, you really can compete against them pretty well. So we are coming up to the final stretch. I save up nitro so that I can shockwave up this final ramp to get better airspeed, and then when I land, I go into perfect nitro and cut the corner a bit closer and accidentally knock him down as I go by, and we come in first. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 9 and Forza Horizon 4 content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!